Good evening YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and this is Outsiders, and as always with these things, when somebody puts a good video on YouTube, I think, well, you know, I've got to reply. T.E. Walker put out a great video about D&D 3.5 and his critique of the whole system, which in some ways I share some things he says, I disagree with others, but I think there's a very valid point that lies underneath everything that he's saying. He's put two good videos out. And I think it's good to give a response. And what it's made me think about, originally, what I was going to do is I was going to come back at this post and sort of say, well, it's probably a very simple answer to all your questions and your theories, and it's something I've been advocating for quite a while with Wizards themselves, which is the following, basically. That D&D needs to get back to its roots, and it needs to do it through some of the suggestions that came out during 3.5 that haven't surfaced yet in Pathfinder, but it's only a matter of time before they do, which is to go to a point-buy system. Now, by the numbers, J.E. Cooley, I think it is the author of the book. I'm certain it's Mr. Cooley. An excellent piece of work on 3.5 that effectively takes away all the classes and breaks all the skills, all the spellcast, everything down into a series of things that players can buy. Now, it's a brilliant book, but it opens up its own can of worms, because although it would solve a lot of the issues you've just raised, because it would mean that players can, at any given level can spend experience points on, it doesn't have to be a set hit dice, it doesn't have to be a set skills, it's some beautiful things that you can do. It's easily open to, it's a bit of a Pandora's box, it's easily open to the classic, what if the players want to take, because there's no limit to it. What if they want to take hit points, more armour, more this, more that? It can be very easily broken. But the essence of it is very strong, particularly on some of the arguments that you give, and it's a book that's well worth checking out. There are other people who've produced many wonderful books. But I thought what might be interesting, and I'm just looking for some immediate feedback from the community here, is I was thinking to myself, well, what if you took an old system like Rolemaster? I've got one of the compendiums here, a bit battered, but great, good little system, good old-fashioned system. It certainly has its flaws, Rolemaster, but one thing it did very, very well is when you get careers, what I liked about the careers is that everybody had, very simply, you had weapon skills you could take, you had manoeuvring armour, and you had special skills, you had magical skills, you had general skills. Everybody has access to these skills. And they all had a different ratio of how much it cost them to actually use them. It's got to be possible to lump that idea over the, if you like, over like as almost like a tracing paper over the top of Pathfinder or 3.5, and just come out with some generalised ways of doing things. Maybe the skill rank system can be changed to a percentile based system fairly easy. Can still run off a d20 actually, strangely enough. The to hit can still stay the same, because for every point it's 5%. I mean, it's very doable. It just struck me that that could be a very interesting way to maybe achieve the same concept both in 3.5 and Pathfinder, to actually lump a very simple tracing paper over the top to allow people to say, well, actually, I would like to get a spell list, and that is what it's going to cost me to do that. That's what I want to spend my development on, and change experience points in the system into development points. It's got to be pretty easy to do, to be perfectly honest with you. So players have far more influence and practice. I mean, at the moment, this is just a spitballing idea, but I think it would go some way towards solving some of the issues that T.E. Walker suggests. But I think, very simply to recap and to keep things to a simple point here, I think check out By the Numbers book by J.E. Cooley. That's very, very good. There are other books out there that will help make the game more open. It's less about character class, etc. Or we could, as a community, think about maybe putting this tracing paper over the top of both systems and come up with a little simple system that allows players to pretty much create the character in their own image, which surely is the whole point, I think, of what he's actually getting at. Anyway, those are my very quick thoughts. If you think it's worth persevering, I will probably give it a lot more thought. I may well spend a bit of time working a simple system to work over the top of both. And, generally we can then play test it and see where it goes. But anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I hope it's been of some use to you, T. Walker. As always, great videos, and keep them coming. Anyway, take care of yourselves and happy gaming. And watch out for my show programme tonight. Goodbye.